Sam, how old are you?
83.
And when's your birthday?
6/14/30.
Okay, we're going to get started. Today is March 26, 2014, and we're interviewing Sam Ealey Sr. at the Illinois Veterans Home in Quincy, Illinois. Sam is 83 years of age and was born on June 14, 1930.
Right.
My name is Tracy Allgilvers, and I'll be the interviewer. Sam, could you state for the recording what war and branch of service you served in?
I joined the Army for 3 years, got a Truman year in Korea, because I went in the Army and told me they had to send me home a month before I was discharged. And I went and this guy said, "Would you like to re-enlist another year?" I said, "Are you crazy? You going off the front line and come down here and I'm on my way home and you asked me if I'm going to sign on for another year?" And I thought I was really being cute about it, but he wasn't joking. He had permission to draft me, so he did.
Really?
Yeah, he drafted all those guys and dudes come home, kept us over there.
Wow. What was your rank while you were in the service?
Staff sergeant. Yeah, as far as I know, this is where I heard after I got back, I got a field commission, which I didn't bother because my wife hated the service. And the outfit I was with, they got tired of hearing me bitching about how loud the outfit we had. So I was up in the mountains in Colorado Springs, and they called me down, and the old man was sitting there, and he said, "Come in, Sergeant." Opened the door, and he said, "Sit down, First Sergeant." He made me First Sergeant. He said, "If you don't put this outfit in shape in 1 month, I'm going to take away the stripes you got." We walked across the parade ground first blood.
Really? Where did you serve at?
Well, I was at, what's that one in Colorado? But I took my basic. Then went to Fort Hood, and from Fort Hood I went to overseas. And then I served the 11th Combat Engineer Battalion was over there, and that's who they assigned me with. And then we were a Bastion Battalion, and I was first squad sergeant of B Company. So every time they have a problem, first one's out, and we have to go behind the lines and do our dirty work. And same way with, and I'm behind the lines anytime because they really needed it. But it was interesting work.
When you say overseas, where were you at overseas?
Korea.
Korea, okay. Did you bring any mementos back with you when you came back?
No, not really.
What was your job assignment while you were in the service?
I was a squad leader, and we fixed bridges, broke bridges. When we were making our big retreat out of North Korea, when Truman wouldn't give us any supplies, I lost a lot of respect for him because we got up there and won the war and it was over. And we just sat for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden he wanted us just to pull out and come back. No supplies, it don't take long, you start moving south. And that's what happened. We come all the way back and stopped them. We broke the bridge at the Han River at Sewell, that stopped them.
Where was the bridge?
At the Han River and at Sewell Trail. We broke that sucker out. That took me 10 years to get over that.
Really?
Yeah, because they pushed all of the old men and old women and kids and everything onto this big long bridge, about I don't know, between a quarter and a half, thinking that we would stop. We hadn't stopped them there, they'd run us completely out of Korea, so we rode it. I watched them girders go out of sight with people hanging on the top of them. Horrible. So I guess it had to be done. I didn't touch it off. I just helped that side set it up for it, but that's a horrible thing you have to do to people
I understand that.
for war.
Did you see combat, and if so, were there any casualties in your unit?
Oh yeah, we had, I had 11 months and 29 days of Class A time, of combat time. And I was there just that period of time, and then they shipped me out, shipped me back home. And we had, one of my best buddies got killed the first day we went out. He was a sergeant from Japan. And I went all that time and never lost a man. And they called me to go to R&R. I said, I'm not going to civilization for 5 days and get drunk and carry on like some idiot, and then I got to come right back into this hole. So I said, I'm not going. The old man said, you aren't guaranteed nothing. You got a chance to get out of here. Go get it. If you think I mean it, I'll arrest you or I'll court martial you. You don't get on a plane and get to Japan, take him 5 days. I went 5 days. And Bob Hope was there with the show up close to the front, and my guys went, and I told them and begged them to always put the guards out. They thought the war was over, if they didn't. I lost 5 guys out of my squad, and I wasn't there. That's a booger bear.
I'm sorry to hear that. Did you sustain any injuries while you were in the service?
Nothing bad enough I returned them in. I've had some real close ones, but I never was told much. But you always get a little something of everything when you're there, but there wasn't nothing bad. I was very fortunate.
Were you a prisoner of war at any point?
No.
Were you awarded any medals or citations, and if so, what did you receive them for?
I got the presidential citation, and for my kind of work for what we did, I got that. I don't know, we had some others, but I never paid attention. I didn't go over to be a hero or have to carry a bunch. I just do my job, and that was it. Sometimes it was kind of tough to do, but we were very fortunate. The good Lord was good to us, but I'll tell you, we got to some places that I didn't think we was ever going to get out of, but He always come through, and we got worked our way out without losing anybody. That's the main part. The closest to tell you how bad I got, we went up on a charge by a big bomb hole with my squad. I got up there, and the goops will sit there and let you fill her in. They don't want you to know they're there, so we'll bring the whole outfit in there and wipe them out, you know. Well, I'd spot them, and I just said, keep on laughing and carrying on, and follow me. And we went back to that hole, and we got back there and jumped in that hole, and the guy said, Sergeant, where's your straps on your helmet? And they weren't there. They tell me they shot off, and I was, boy, I threw my feet up in the air and laughing, and I didn't have a back boot. It took that off too. I never even knew what happened. But I went around and laced up so we could get someplace where I could get a boot. But that's pretty close when they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And the other time that I got scared to half to death, it's comical. I got on this plane this train at Pusan. They sent me to Pusan perimeter. And we had an old guy who was 40 or better. He shouldn't even been in the Army. And we got along, and the goops attacked the train, so we were all in trouble there. And I had was there with a bunch of sailors and Army and Marines. Arms all taped up, and everything was bad, and they had to send them back up. Well, this guy was bouncing. We all made sure our weapons was loaded, and old Steve was bouncing his rifle barrel butt off the back of my helmet. Banging, I said, get that stupid gun away from my head. If you're going to mess around and shoot somebody. You know, he thought he had it. It showed you what age and booze will do to you. He thought he was in good shape, and I don't know, on an M1, you're probably not familiar with it, but in a trigger assembly, there's a slot, and when you pull that down, and that puts it on safe. When you go to use it, you put your finger in there and pry it up. Well, I guess he thought he knew what he was doing. Next thing is it crashed. He shot me right in the back of the helmet. It just didn't come on through. It just went, creased it, and went out and went right out the roof.
Really?
And I was paralyzed. I couldn't even do nothing. Couldn't even move. I thought, man, first cotton picking day in combat, and get my butt blowed off, and I'm done. You know, it really bugged me. It was weird. I could see, hear, everything, but I couldn't talk. I couldn't move my muscles. Couldn't even close my eyes. That was weird. Some Marine come up there and he said, the Army guy come up first and he said, no, he's dead. I thought, oh, that's great. So here comes this Marine guy. He come up there and got up there and he said, hold a minute. He said, I think I feel this guy breathing. And he put his nose right up to mine. And he said, hey, he ain't dead. And you know what? I came out. I said, yo, and that Marine did about two turned over backwards and hit the ground running, and he said, "I'll just shoot you," you know, and I said, "Hey, that was pretty good news. You told me I was still alive." There was some comical things in it, but it's pretty serious business.
Right. Can you share any battle planning with us?
Well, everything we went was just what we was setting to decide what we're going to do to go and what we had recon on and look it over and then decide to take off and go on our patrol or go find the bridge that's blowed out that we got to put back together. And that was our biggest job, and trying to stay alive. Because sometimes you get pinned down and you can be down in the same spot for 2 or 3 hours till somebody can reach out there and get them, you know, but we've been in a lot of those situations. So I said that the good Lord was really good to us, because we went through things that there's no way a human intelligence would be smart enough to make the right move. And there we'd be right out in the open and headed south, getting down the hole someplace. Then we'd regroup and go back again. But it's very interesting, but it keeps your adrenaline flowing pretty heavy.
Okay, this next section is about personal things. The first question is, how did you get along with the officers and your fellow soldiers?
Fine. I never had any problem.
Did you feel any pressure, stress, or anxiety?
No, well, you get worried about things, what you're going to do, and you know that if we're in line for chow, and we got the whole outfit, and I mean all the squads and stuff, and you go to get your coffee and pour a little bit of whiskey in it, you know where you're going when it gets dark 30. So you just build up to it. It's kind of nerve-wracking, and nobody wants to have to go out in the dark and all that stuff. But the biggest thing is with the Americans is they're afraid of the dark. Well, nobody's kidding. And then we'll be scattered out with a foxhole quite a ways apart. They'll get it meet out in the middle so they can be together. And that was true. That's the way all have it. It makes you pretty jittery at night. When it's dark, you can't see nothing. But that just goes with it.
Sure. Did you keep a personal diary of any kind while you were over there?
No. I never knew what day it was or nothing. Tell you the time of the day, but I couldn't tell you what day it was.
Can you tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences?
Well, they were all pretty more memorable, but I can't think of any outstanding. Yeah, there was one. Right after we got there, we was in Tucson, and we went up the road. They had just stub trees sticking around where they'd been fighting, and I picked up a gook and what is it? South Korean, I guess couldn't call him a gook. We were the gooks, according to the dictionary. But anyway, I picked him up. He had a full uniform and M16, so he got in the back end. We were going down the road in the Jeep, and I'd had the lieutenant's Jeep. I drove a Jeep driver for a while, but I went down where that whole outfit was, and boy, them dudes opened up on us, and they just like shot the crap out of us. And I'm dragging my nose on the ground trying to guide that thing, leaning out of that Jeep, and George is laying down in the back with me. He's trying to get them too, and we can't spot them, and they keep coming from different places. So I went down and told the lieutenant, and he said, I said, let's go back and get it before they hurt somebody. So we went back up there, and I draw a bead on this dude, and the lieutenant was new. And just as I went to fire off, he hit my gun up in the air. I said, what did you do that for? Well, how do you know that he's an enemy? I said, that sucker's out there, and there's shots coming from there. That's all I'm trying. He better get his butt out of there if he ain't. But they wouldn't let me shoot into it anymore. But anyway, we captured 3 gooks out of the rice paddies, and the one that let get away was the honcho. He was the top guy, they could tell me. But that was kind of humorous in a way. It was over with. And then see, I had another one that was, oh man, there's so many in 11 months a year out there every day at it. You can't hardly keep from getting in it.
Keep track of all of them?
Yeah. I was no hero, so I wasn't looking for that. I just do my job and do it like I'm supposed to do to help the troops. So that's what we're out there for.
Were you able to stay in touch with your family while you were in the service?
Oh yeah, they wrote me letters and I wrote back. My dad and my brother and my uncle lived together. My mother died before I was 5. My brother's 20 months younger, and Dad didn't want to put a stepmom over, so he never chased women or nothing. He bats and married us till we were both 18. He went in the Air Force and I went in the Army.
Really?
Close family.
Did you do or have something special for good luck while you were over there?
No, I didn't care much for luck. I just relied on the Lord. He's more closer than that luck is.
Sure.
If luck, you're just asking for it. So if you pray for guidance and stuff, you get it. You're not going to say, okay, luck, which way do I go? You know, and a million different ways to go. Oh, one I run a roadblock, and we was trying to get a bridge up. The river was way out of bounds, and we were using one of those, I believe it's a Bailey bridge. You put 7 pieces together and slide one out over the bank. And we had over 600 troops back there, and a group was rolling around them, and they couldn't get away because the river had everything flooded. So we lost a Brockway going up there, and the major said, all right, go back and find that truck and bring it up here. And I said, who's my shotgun rider? And he said, we can't afford it. I said, you got to be joking, man. That's miles back in there. And he wouldn't give it to him. He said, I'll take care of it. So I went down and knocked 3 roadblocks off, ran into a captain, and they shot his Jeep all up, and he was still running. We found a little stream, kept pouring water in it, and he was going up the hill to his outfit. And I said, well, I got to get that truck and get out of here before dark. So I went back, and man, just look at, I had a fingernail file in my pocket because the points were stuck shut. And so I got the truck going, and I said, I'm going to tell you something. You put it on the floor because you won't keep up my Jeep that good. But I'm not going around these little narrow ledges after dark. If you fall out, you just stay, you're out, boy. And boy, they brought that truck around. And when they got through, Major never even said thanks. And they like to blow our butts off. We went in on, I went over to jump pile that highway, with logs and stuff. We had to go over with the Jeep. But I can understand why in a way, because later on, he was laughing, telling in non-com that he lost a whole battalion in the Second World War. Lost them all. And he thought that was funny. But shot him. I mean, here he was out here with another battalion. And he wasn't near the front line either, I'll tell you that. But I met some very good people, very good officers, and smart, not smart aleck. We had a job to do, and we sat down and hashed out what we were going to do, and here's here, and there's there, this is here, and with that year over there. We take it that way, and that was good. We worked together, and it worked. And we never lost any. Them guys didn't put a guard out, and I lost 5 guys. That about tears you up. Been with them all the time through that war, and just for not putting a guard up. Them groups just went up there, rolled a hand grenades under the tent with a squad tent, rolled hand grenades under there, and then set out there. They had machine guns out there. When the guys go to run out, they'd mow them down. We lost a lot of guys in that. But 3 of them was out of my squad. Or 5, I can't remember now. It's been so long trying to think of the names of them. I can't even think of the names of all them guys anymore. We had 13-man squads. And 12 of us would go out, and we always leave somebody there to get them a day out of combat, and they could sharpen shovels or anything, something to keep busy. But, I've had a lot of thrills. They just keep your adrenaline up pretty tight. Sure.
Did you have plenty of supplies where you were there?
Not always, no. In fact, we were in the Bastion Battalion, and they put us with the Marines, the Army, or whatever, wherever they sent us. We were the last one on the pole to get anything to eat. So they call my outfit scroungers and scavengers, because we sold everything we could eat, because that's what we had to do for some time. And then a comical one, we were right behind this convoy. Lieutenant, I was driving, and I said, Lieutenant, take the wheel. I'm going to go up over that Jeep and get in the back of that truck. And he got boxes of stuff. It's dark, You could see in there, though. Well, that was a blunder. I got it, stepped in that truck. I got me a case, boy. I brought it back and laid it on the front of that Jeep. Got out all over the back, got it back. And the lieutenant said, "What have you got for us, good deed?" It was canned milk. Unreal. Canned milk.
What was the food like over there?
C rations was good, but when I first went over, it was K rations. You couldn't eat them. They packaged in 1942, and they had tins of eggs, always a couple, 3 little spider web things like in it, and the rest of it's gone. Don't know where it went, but that's the way that food was. And you could take one of the biscuits and put it in boiling gravy or coffee, and you couldn't soften it up. You only had to take a rifle butt and break it up in pieces. You put it in and stuff, it was bad. But you know, it got us by, but it was bad food. But we'd go out and scrounge up. We'd find some farmer and have a bunch of chickens, and we'd buy them off there, and we'd have chickens, and very seldom could you ever get any eggs. But everything we had to get was scrounge, because we're the last ones on the chain, and everybody gets taken care of us. 12 guys, 13 guys, but we managed to come out of there pretty good.
These next questions are about R&R. How did you entertain yourself?
Well, we get up late and go to the mess hall, and we eat. They had real jumbo shrimp. Shrimp as big as your hand. Now, that was just shrimp.
That's big ones.
Yeah, and 3 of them would fill a plate this big, hang over. We'd eat that, and then we'd go out to our booth and carry on. We would tuck in everything we could find. And you didn't get sick. It was rice beer, and you could go in there and never make you sick. You make a real alcoholic out of you.
Mm-hmm.
But then we'd do that. There was 5 days of that, and I was kind of glad. I was tired, never go to bed. I mean, you do, but you don't sleep because you think, well, it isn't. And they party all night long over there. They just hoop and holler and pray and run down the streets, and so you might as well get in and join them, because you ain't gonna get sleep or you think you are, but it don't happen.
Were there any entertainers that came to see your units?
Well, Bob Hope was up there tonight. I told you I never got to see any of them, because they would have, we was all going, but then word come out that first squad report to him compound scheduled for a run tonight, so I left them and I told them what to do, but they didn't do it. That really tore me up. You lose that man. They're like brothers. You get so, you know what this one's doing, and even gonna say. So it hurts when that happens, and all because of stupidity. Of course, there's a lot of things that's stupidity in a war.
Did you travel while you were in the service?
No.
When you were on leave, did you get to travel anywhere?
Oh no, I never got any leave other than out here in the States.
Okay.
Didn't get nothing in Korea.
What were some of the pranks that you or others would pull? Or did you pull any pranks of any kind?
I'm sure I did something, but you know, I can't really remember. Yeah, one time we were back in reserve, and I played guitar. When I come home, I had a band for 25 years here in Central Illinois. But we had a guy's guitar, and he didn't know how to play it, so I've been playing it. And my buddies, I can't believe it, we had a box of hand grenades. Well, they'd clean one out. Now this is kind of stupid. They just cleaned one out and put her back together. And we were doing it. This guy threw that hand grenade. I thought he went bananas right in the middle. And I felt like an idiot. But I had this guy's guitar, and it went on the ground, and so I got over top of it. And I'm laying right over top of that stupid grenade. And I thought, oh, this is a bright move, you know. It never did go off. It never, you know, king them. I almost shot that sucker. Boy, you like scared me to death. Probably an inch of growth, but I could have still had. Man, then you don't think about that dumb stuff until you get into it. But it wasn't. He thought it was funny. The other guy was looking at him pretty strong. He finally just shut up about it. But boy, he scared the tar of me. I thought I'd had it. But they do it for a joke. But what if you reached down and got one of the live ones? Because you've been drinking. Man, that whole box is full. If he reached the wrong one, throw it up there. That would have been history.
Okay, the next few questions are about your discharge and post-war. Do you recall the day your service ended, and if so, where were you at?
I was in Colorado Springs, and I can't tell you what day it was when I got out there, because I was very disappointed. I went down there to get my discharge, and I didn't have none of my things that's supposed to be sewed on my jacket, none of my medal, none of that stuff that I was supposed to be. He said, I'll not discharge you until you go get squared away, full dress. Spent all day sewing all them hash marks and stuff on there with a coat. I went down there to get it, and the guy just walked in there. He had me discharged. There you go. Never looked, never said a word. I did work the whole day, me trying to sew on my uniform, and then sucker never even took a look at it. I felt like covering him in the nose, but I've been out, you know, throw me in jail, you know.
Did the war come to an end, or had you fulfilled your military service when you got out?
Well, we weren't fighting when I got out. The war was over, and this is one of the things that Truman kind of let on, that we were the ones that lost that war. We sat up for 2 weeks, and there was nobody to fight. And Truman wanted us to pull out. Well, the Marines, we fought and paid dear money, boy, for blood for that peninsula. And Truman wanted us out of there, so we didn't get any supplies, so we got out the best way we could. I wasn't very happy with that. And here's why I'll tell you why I was unhappy, because it was all stupidity. If he wasn't going to fight the war to win, he shouldn't have ever sent us over there. Now then, we started out, the war started at 38th parallel. You remember that? The 38th parallel. North Koreans come over, went into the South, and started the war. So, what gripes me, we did all that fighting, and we went from Pusan all the way to the Yellow River. Do you know there was 1 million Chinese across that river? And they never told us nothing. The Air Force guys would, but they weren't allowed to go across that river. He was afraid of starting war with China. Was he worried about that? We had the bomb. We just stopped the war in Asia. All we had to do was go over and drop that bomb on 1 million guys, and that takes care of that war, that army right there. That'd be done with it. But he didn't, and he wouldn't let nobody go in there and harm them or nothing. And I kept telling the people, these are Chinese were captured. And that was pitiful. That was pitiful. This one little kid, he wasn't very big. And he come up there and was trying to smile and scared to death. And I gave him cigarettes and I gave him some food. I looked down, he didn't have no feet. He's walking on a leg bum coming out here and strode over, and he's running on that, and he's happy. He's out of the war. But he ain't gonna be happy that thing starts going out. Man, I could have cried with that little kid. He's just like about a 15, 16-year-old kid, just naive as they come. Oh man, that about broke my mind. But Chinese are different people to fight, I'll tell you, believe me. Asiatics they're all together a different ballgame. But we get all them people back there, what are we going to do with them? We had every stockade, everything we had, was full of people, and they just keep coming and coming. The first wave went out. You go out with your people, the first wave come at us. Now, we were setting up on a knob, and down here was the village, and there was 1,000 Turks come in there with us, and them goods kept running. They were running so fast it looked like the mountain was moving. And they come in there and they're shooting at 105s and 155 straight into them, running this high off the ground. It's just like you throw a rock in the water. It just spices out, goes right back up, and they just keep coming. Now, your outfit's the only one that's got any weapons. And they send her outfit out there. They're to get the weapons off you dead people so they'll have something to fight with. Now, that's how they fought the war. They didn't waste all of them energies and them, none of them guns or nothing. They were really weird. And it's hard to, no common sense to them whatsoever. None. And that's why they still haven't stopped that war yet. Here's my beef. And I wish the people would realize this. We went through from that war and run them clear up to the Yellow River. Then they run us back. We came back down, and then we re-put that bridge back together so we could get tanks and trucks and everything across. There was a railroad track right next door to the big high bridge. We bombed and went there. We had it fixed up. We got troops so they could go across, and we go across over there. And when they get up there a ways, they decided that's a good place to end the war. Well, why they didn't end it up there, but anyway, it was not real to me. Now we were almost on the 38th parallel. We did all that because when they came over the parallel, we went up and took them out, cleared the river. They brought us back. We had to get out the best way we could. And then we regrouped and we came back up and we got up close to the 38th parallel. And they said, this looks like a good place to stop. 58,000 men it cost us to get to that point. Where we started, we're right back where we started. And we lost 58,000 and probably 250,000 wounded. That didn't set very good with me. And it shouldn't set good with anybody. That shouldn't have happened. Why would you spend 58,000 lives that's a place you're not even going to keep or take care of? So that was our fancy leaders. I made sure I voted against that sucker. He didn't get back in.
Were others discharged with you when you got out?
I was by myself. I wasn't anybody over there. I just went in and got my discharge and came back out.
What did you do in the days and weeks afterward? Did you resume a job or start a new career? Did you go to school, and if so, did you use the GI Bill to get your education?
No, I had by the time I took my wife home, I had a little boy, and he was about 18, 20 months old. I'd never seen him because she was ready to have him when I got shipped out. And then when I got back to Colorado Springs, we had quarters on the clothes, and she got pregnant again with Sheriff. So I took them home. And my kids are every two years apart, 50, 52, and 54, except Robin. And we had the kids we were going to have and had them spaced out. And along come the monster, my daughter, in 1964, just 10 years behind the youngest one. So I got 4 kids, and then the tragedy is I've lost my oldest daughter and I've lost my wife within 2.5 months of one another. They smoked, and they both had COPD, my wife had, and my daughter had lung cancer in Oklahoma City. And I tried to get them to quit, and they wouldn't quit. But anyway, you can't just jump on them and say you aren't going to. And
sure.
But that's a terrible tragedy.
Did you make any close friendships while you were in the service? And if so, did you continue any of those relationships?
No, I did. I had some, and I talked to them, but I've been to Oklahoma and different places where they lived, and I've checked there with every town and phone books, and I can never have found one, not even one. So I don't know what happened to them or where they went, but I had their old addresses, where to go. But I never have run across. One of them came, my wife hated the service. One of them came about, but found me in Springfield, Illinois, and come by the house. And my wife was rather rude to him, I thought. And he was one that got shot through the neck, but he lived. And she didn't get his name, his address. That's bugged me to this day. I don't know who it was. But he wasn't from my state. He was from out there. He looked me up, and I grew to feel bad over that. But I wasn't home, so wasn't much I could do about it.
Did you ever attend any kind of a reunion with any service, people from within the service that you?
Yeah, we have a big company, combat engineers, 11th engineers. Every year we have a reunion, and it's from one end of the state or in the States to wherever we vote on where it goes. I haven't been able to go the last 3 or 4 because my wife was sick and my daughter, so I didn't go anyplace. But I never found too many guys that I really knew from there because my squad we were just cut away from everybody. We were just run on our own mainly. And if we seen something needs to be done, we done it, and then we come back and report. But that time they've got requests for us to sneak in and blow this bridge and fix that bridge like it's nothing. But I'll tell you, if you got the time, I'll tell you two good instances. We were fixing the road, and I had 17 rocks, and so they made a squad out of it because they didn't want them in the regular army. So I had a truck and 17 groups, and we were fixing it. These boys were good workers, and they knew they were good engineers. And we got that thing and get it off something all done. Well, I'm standing there, and generally we have a medic goes with us because, you know, if you got that many guys and somebody's hurt bad, how you going to do much about it? So Doc Gray was our medic, was with us. And I'm going along home around, we're looking at what they're doing. And all of a sudden this explosive gets off and hits me right in the back and just flattens me. And man, I got up and water was, your blood running down my back, down my pants and everything else. And I'm hollering and screaming for Doc. I said, man, I'm hit bad in the back. So he come up there real fast and jerked my jacket off and everything. He got through and he said, there ain't nothing wrong with you. I said, boy, I'm telling you, I said, my back is raw. He said, that's them rocks that blew up. Well, them mines went out there. A family was coming across that field and walking, and they hit a tripwire, and it went off. And boy, like scared me after death. I thought I'd been had. And so they laughed about it, but we got it all back together. And we had several of those kind of instances where I went out in that field then at that time, and Chodamai, which means wait a minute in Japanese. So they stopped. The old man was telling her to be quiet and stand still. They had 3 or 4 kids. So you can see the tripwires unless one of them gets loose and you gamble. And I went traipsing out there, got way out there, and I got the little kids. I carried 2 of them. I told the guy, Stepper, I said, man, you make one boo-boo here, you blowed everybody up. And I brought them out, and I went back and got the other kid. Then I went back and got that woman and her husband, and I told them to make a step where I stepped, show them. And it took them about 30 minutes to walk through that minefield. Nobody got hurt. That's the thing I like about it. But boy, I sure thought I'd been had. That's a horrible feeling. Well, I know if that was shrapnel, I was done. But man, that was a force. It was right next to the road where I was standing. That dude went off, and I heard this noise, and I went off my feet, and I thought I'd had the course. But you get into some of the things that you laugh about afterwards. It ain't funny at the time, but you have to have something about laugh at it and go buggy, more than we are or were.
Did you ever join a veterans organization? And if so, what kinds of activities did they do? Or were you involved in anything like that?
Well, I started the VFW for Rochester. And I had the VFW, and I was commander because nobody wanted to do the job as commander. And everybody wanted to remain, so I was a captain. I was commander for, I don't know, quite a few years. And then I finally got somebody to take it, and they were running it. They didn't want it, so I took it back. Then I got my brother. He stepped in and took it for a couple, 3 years, and he wanted it out. And so everybody wanted him for secretary. He was good. So we stayed almost up to the end, and the guys that come into the meeting drunk, no respect at all. These are guys from different wars. Mm-hmm. And no disrespect to the wars ahead of us, but all them guys do is sit in the bar and drink. A lot of them that was in I went around, and we got about, I guess we had 40, 50 members that I got in. Everything was going good. And then we had a real crook in there, and he stole his money, took it all. I couldn't believe it, but he took everything we had, all our money out of the bank. We had a party, and a beer party, and dancing, and we took in approximately $3,000, $4,000, maybe $5,000. He never turned in 1 penny for that. And so we took and went to Springfield for headquarters. We wanted to bring him in court, then we come up with that money. They said, no, we ain't doing that. We had to go to Chicago. I said, no, we didn't do nothing. And in about 6 months, they thought he was so good, they let him take care of their post. They come out there, my place said, we need you to turn in and have this guy prosecuted. He just robbed our post completely blind, and we can't do anything about it. I said, tough man. Stick in your eye in it. You didn't help us, you ruined our post. We're back running even, keel now, and pay our bills off. I said, you guys handle it. Well, broke their plant. They had 1,000 members. It split them up. They've got, they're back running again. I'm in one of them, but I don't know which one I'm even in. I don't even go. I just can't picture for the good that we did for everybody. You know, we help people with groceries, we help people with fuel, everything we could do to help them, you know. And that was a good thing. We had a good thing. And then guys are more interested in drinking and doing good. And 2 or 3 can't do all the work, but that's what it boiled down to. I said, this is crazy. So I just put in a thing to eliminate the post and good standing and don't owe nobody, and that's what happened.
Okay. How has your service and experiences affected your life? Has anyone ever thanked you for serving our country, and if so, how did it make you feel?
Well, just recently, I mean, my kids got me this, they found it someplace, and I love that hat. It's a MacArthur hat away, but I really like it, and it fits good. It's a ball cap. And every time we go someplace, the kids say, well, where's your good hat? And you like it? Well, people come up and it embarrasses me. And my brother, he eats it up. He's in the Air Force, and he's generally got one that says Veterans of Korea. And this guy come up, my brother was eating a steakhouse with his wife and kid, and he had an order, they had a big meal. This guy come up and he shook Tom's hand and sure glad to see you and thank you and go on. And Tom said, no, that's fine. I appreciate you doing it. And they left, and Tom went, paid for it. That guy paid for all of everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
That's
and that happens
nice.
all the time. And Tom said, where's your helmet? I said, or your cap? And I said, man, it's embarrassing somebody come up and tell me that. You know, I said, I'm not wearing it for getting that. But it don't matter. If he's got his, then they ask him, they say, yeah, he was in the Army in the
He includes you, so that's great.
Uh-huh.
He includes you, so that's great.
Oh, yeah. He's a good brother.
Good. Okay, we're about done. Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or military in general?
Yeah, it has. I only by the grace of God did we ever get out of Korea. Oh, there's so many blunders made in that. And I went back and I got interested in history. And you wouldn't believe people that you know that are very good people of some of the decisions they've made. Oh, my gosh, man. I can't believe that they would do and lose as high as 50, 70,000 men. They wouldn't have to lost 2,000 because they didn't use it. And they didn't learn nothing from the Second World War. Going into the Korean War, they didn't learn nothing. And yet, but they were very nice people. You can't argue that point. But when you're playing with people's lives, you got to know what you're doing. You got to take every aspect, everything on the table, and go through it and take the least, the one that will cause you the less number of casualties, and we'll do the job. Now, I watched the Second World War, and they sent airplanes in along the coast, but they didn't send enough, and it cost them tons of money and lives like that. And so when we come up to us, we had the land in there. It wasn't any better. And Korean War was, well, you read about all them Marines, I guess, that walked right down the road between 2 valleys, and the groups just up in the hill, pick them off at random. And we did the same thing. They said, don't shoot back, because they'll charge down there and kill everybody here. They just pick off at random and shoot somebody. It really makes you feel good. You're going down there and they're dropping guys all around you, which one they pick.
Is your view of the government the same before and after your years of service?
Yeah, times are different now. And it seems like I played politics for a while, helped out a lot of people, got them elected. because I believed in them and they did their job right. But some of the people we got in there now, they'll tell you all they want is their million and they're out of there. And they'll come right out and tell you that, young guy. That's bad. That they're not serving, they're raping the country. And they're not conservative with their money and how they spend it. They just get a deal and they just okay it. And you okay it and you okay it, goes through it. $1 billion is like nothing to them, you know. So look at the mess we're in. And I personally don't know how we're going to get out of this. Do you?
I do not. No, sir.
Nobody, but they've got it then, and the guys that you talk to about, they won't even talk to you with it. It's a bad deal. In the United States, we used to be one of the best in the world, and we aren't that anymore. It just isn't nice. It isn't good at all. And I wouldn't even travel to see my wife and family could do it. When you're asking for trouble, because there's so many different people that is leading one country. There's this one's fighting that one and that one's fighting this one, and they take on hostages and all that mess.
Would you encourage, excuse me, would you encourage young men and women to enlist today?
Well, it depends on, I have to know more about them, what they expect out of life. Some guys it would be good. The thing that would be good, I'm telling them, they don't think so. When kids become 18, I don't care if they're crippled, they got a leg off, an arm off, they should be drafted into the service. And someplace that they got them to work. Learn how the military really works. And the military is a dictatorship. There's no getting around that. You have to go in and surrender to the army because you're going to have to do what they tell you. But everybody, what's pitiful, they send people over there to us with no training. Man, I prayed I wouldn't lose them guys if they learned something. And I was fortunate, I didn't. Very fortunate, because these kids go over there and they have no idea. And what do? They go crazy. They sit down and they cry. It scares them to death. Just the shell's going over. Not counting when you get into hand-to-hand combat or get up there in a bunch. And I've shipped several of them back home because they had no business being there. And all they're going to do is get themselves killed and somebody else hurt around them. But the military was good discipline. And look at our kids, no discipline at all today. Because they don't have to. But if they had to go up through the Army, or the Air Force, or Navy, whatever, they would learn. And if they don't learn, they wish they had them, because the time they get through with them, it isn't pretty. But you send your kid in there, and he should be smart enough to go along with what he has to do, but boy, they don't. They just don't do it, and it's really sad. So sad that I tell them this, I joined the Air Force first, and I have got some relatives that's in there, and they want to do. I said, get in the cotton picking Air Force. No, my dad was in the infantry. I said, yeah, but he never went any place. He never done nothing. Well, I'm going to honor him and join the Army. And on top of that, he joined the Army and become a paratrooper. Now he can't find no place where he can go in the Army and still be in a paratrooper, other than Fort Bragg or wherever they're at there. So he's got a problem there.
How do you feel about how the war is depicted in movies, and do you think is there an accurate depiction of war in movies?
No, it's all fictitious. You find some things in there that is right, but a lot of us is one of them make you feel good things. Well, you know, the kids see this and they think it's great, but in 2 days they've forgotten it, which they got no memories. So I'm glad of that, because they jump in there and they're in trouble if they have no. They need to do a little research as what they want out of life. The Army is a great life, but before I went overseas, my lieutenant told me, because we had everything was Army Air Force. Then they came on with the United States Air Force. So they let all the pilots stay in the Army Air Force or transfer there. They all went to the Air Force, and the Army had no pilots. I'm a PFC. And the lieutenant come in, he said, "Hot rod, do you want to fly?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, we got the time. We both passed tests, and and they're going to send us to pilot school." I said, you gotta be joking. He said, nope, be packed and ready to go Friday. I did, went up to battalion headquarters, and that place was just loaded with people. When I got in, there was my orders, telling me going to Fort Meade, Maryland for a pilot training. That guy said PCOM. I said, no, there's my orders. He said, them was good till 8 o'clock this morning. These here is the ones that's good. And it started me on my way to Korea. So I never did, and I run into my lieutenant in Vandalia here in Illinois. He's got his wing and he's captain. And we didn't get to talk because his mother-in-law was in the car and his wife, and he said, he jumped out and left us in the middle of the road. They were screaming and hollering, but we never did get in contact again. But I could have been pilot, but probably wouldn't last long because they went over the helicopter and soon look what they did. They shot some helicopters down and was about to throw a rock at them, it seemed like at times.
What is the most positive thing you took away from your experience in the service?
Well, I learned a lot about people, and try to be a good person, and that you bring your kids up the same way, and that you do what's right, and no matter what you do, it don't amount to hell beans if you ain't got God in your life. So go to church. And most of my kids are going to church, and that tickled me to no end. But I'm getting pretty close to getting all of them into going. But it's difficult because I had 4 kids, and now of the 4 I had 10 grandkids, and now of that I got about 12 great grandkids. So it keeps me
busy.
These kids, you know, for this, and they always still call pops. You know, they don't trust their mom, I guess, or their dad, so they call me and ask me, and everything works fine.
What is the most negative thing you could take away from the service that you could express with us?
Most negative thing?
Mm-hmm.
That you take out of there to run the state of the army or for your own life?
For your own life.
Well, there's probably a lot of negative things, but I don't dwell on negative. And I never thought about taking anything away. They need what they got. I really don't know. I couldn't give you an
That's
answer.
fine. That's it, other than the last question would be, is there anything you would like to add that we maybe didn't discuss or hit on that you want everybody to know?
Well, you go on that for days because I'm still doing it with my own kids. But on the other hand, I can't think of anything one thing that would help them of anybody.
Okay.
It's just try your best to be a good person, a good Christian, and go from there.
Okay. I appreciate it. We're done. I'm going to turn this off real quick, and then I need to get your signature, if that's okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Hope I didn't disappoint you.
You absolutely did not.
Find that in the right place.
Sam, what was your first daughter's name? Did you say Shara?
Cheryl.
Cheryl, okay. And then later you were talking about the fort you were at when you could have done the pilot. What was the name of that fort?
Fort Meade, Maryland.